Okay, so basically, I want to start a new business and document my entire journey on YouTube. I tried LinkedIn, but long story short, I can't even get verified. I've been trying for the past couple of days. So honestly, I'm just planning on giving up. Um, I'm not really too interested in it. If I was, I probably would have kept trying. But I'm not too fond of starting freelancing from scratch again. I already know how hard it is on Upwork, and I think LinkedIn is harder, especially nowadays. So I'm not really a fan of doing it. I only tried to do it because I have some experience freelancing on Upwork. So it was like a similar niche. But there is another business model that I am more interested in. So I thought, why not give this a try? I don't, I have no experience in this. I don't know. This is just like an idea that I have that I wanted to start. And I'm just documenting from the beginning, like from me having the idea to me actually implementing the idea just from scratch. So this video is not like, I've already done it and here's the success. This is here's an idea that I have. I'm gonna start, follow along if you'd like. So basically how I got this idea was that obviously I have income coming in from Upwork, and I've built, some money up for myself doing so. And that money is kind of just sitting in a savings account. And I thought of, different ways of, how I can make money without really taking away time from my Upwork business. I try to look for ways to kind of make the money that I have work for me. Basically, I came across this app where it lets you lend money to strangers um, for interest. So essentially, you could lend out $20 to somebody, and in a month's time or 2 weeks time, whatever, they'll pay you back $25. So you lend out 20, after 2 weeks they'll pay you 25. The $5 is interest, something like that. And I thought it was pretty interesting. I thought it was a pretty cool idea. The only thing was that app wasn't available for me. Like it's not available for people living in California. And I tried to look into it. There weren't any apps like similar to it, or there were, but these apps were like business lending apps. So you'd have to lend out like tens of thousands of dollars, and the waiting time is like you have to wait years for the money to even come back to you. So this app was the only app that was kind of like beginner friendly, or where you can start out small, lend $10, $20, and kind of get interest back within a couple weeks. But the whole concept kind of interested me, right? Because I don't really have to do much on my end. All I have to do is lend out the money initially, and then I can do whatever, and I just wait a month or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, whatever, 2 months, whatever, and then I get my interest, right? They pay me the interest. So in theory, this idea was pretty cool, right? Because the interest that you'd make obviously is better than like a typical savings account. So if you can somehow find a way to, kind of build a system where you're just doing thousands of transactions a month, you have a pretty solid business, right? In theory. So I thought this would be cool, just to kind of, still do my business, but also have my money work for me in the back. So that was the idea that I had. But the more I kind of look into it, the more downsides I'm kind of, getting introduced to. Obviously, there's this thing called defaults where you lend out the $20, and the guy you lend it out to can't pay it back in time. So there's like delays, more delays, and then it might get to a point where they just don't pay you back. And there's not much you can do about it. I mean, based off of what I read, there are things you can do like legally, but is it worth to file lawsuits, whatever, go through all the legal process for $20? There's a lot of downsides, obviously, that come with this business, and the more I look into it, the more complicated it looks. The idea is pretty simple, right? Hey, you need $20. Here's $20. By the end of the month, give me 25, or whenever you get your paycheck, give me interest or whatever. The theory of it, the idea of it is pretty simple. There's always going to be customers or clients. Everyone's gonna like, hey, I have money, anyone want to borrow it? Everyone needs money, right? And maybe you don't want to go to a bank for whatever reason. So the idea is pretty simple and cool, but again, I'm at a stage now where it's just like the more I look into it, the more complicated and the more downsides there are. So that's where I'm at right now. Again, this isn't like hey, I started this business, I'm a year into it, and here are the results. I've literally this. like this is just like my idea stage where I have this idea, I want to start, I want to look into it, and I'm here just documenting my entire journey. That's where I'm at. So yeah, I don't have much other than that. I'm gonna spend the time though to do as much research as I can on this. I don't know, this might not even work. I might look into it and find out that it's not plausible or possible to do something like or start a business like this. Maybe, and then I'll stop. But I'll never know unless I actually start. So um, in case this does work out, I wanted to kind of create a video. One of my biggest regrets was not documenting my Upwork journey, and I kind of regretted not showing everything from the beginning. One thing I wish I did was start from the absolute beginning, where it's just like, hey, I want to start freelancing on Upwork. Let me do as much research as I can, and document my entire journey. That's something I wanted to do and something I regret not doing. Kind of creating my YouTube channel earlier. So I thought I'd do that with this. I have an idea. I want to start. I want to look into it. And I'm going to document the entire thing. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. If you have any tips, if you think this is a good idea. Probably not, but I'll never know unless I start.